were using contraceptives.
Talk about luck. Sakira and Heos are having a baby.
We were that .01.
That was a shocker.
And one mother-in-law is very upset.
And I have never known where she lived. Have you?
They've got lots to deal with when the new baby arrives. Coming up on Birthdays.
It's very real now. Go home. Mommy's a basket case.
She became overwhelmed.
The intimacy thing is a problem.
Dad got sleep last night, Mom not so much so.
Hi, baby.
It's moving day for Sakira and Heos. A big day because of some big changes in their lives.
I will never do this again. I will never recommend anyone move while they're pregnant.
They've been living together for 2 years. He works for a bank, she works for a community college. Carefree and independent, having a baby was not part of their plan, at least right now.
We were using contraceptives, and we were that 1 percentile where it says, yeah, contraceptive is 99.9% effective. And we were that .01.
We met through our mothers. They used to work together, and I just came from Jamaica. It was 2001, and they had a brilliant idea that Heos should show me around.
When I saw her picture, I said, yeah, right. There's no way this is gonna happen. There's no way she's gonna be just my friend.
He was right. They fell in love. And 2 years later, Heos moved in with Sakira, leaving his mother with a big empty house.
When I bought this house, it was mainly for Heos in mind, to be really honest. Then Heos told me he was moving out, and that was a shocker. But I told him, I said, you're going to be moving back in a year. 6 months to a year I gave him.
My pride had to get put on a big back burner, and everything else came forward when it comes to my child. So I said, you know what, swallow your pride, swallow anything else that you have, any animosities towards moving back home.
So he asked me if he could move back home. Then he told me Sakira was pregnant. So then I decided, okay, I caved in.
I think if you have to live with family, which often people do for a short time at some point in their lives, I think the big thing is that family members have to have realistic expectations of what life is like with a new baby. I mean, if I had my druthers, I need a little space. I would not be able to argue effectively with my partner if I had to be editing myself or constantly thinking about whether his mother was writing down, holy cow, how did we get her as a daughter-in-law, or there was some kind of scorecard on the other side of the wall.
Moving back home with mom is not ideal, but it means he and Sakira can save faster for a home of their own.
Now that we have a baby, you have to get right on it. And even if it takes moving in with your mom, take the sacrifice, and at least we'll save faster.
Besides living arrangements, these two have some other family problems.
When we found out that Sakira was pregnant, and we decided to tell her mother and my mother, the first thing my mom said was, I don't want to be called grandma. I don't want to be called grandma. I want to be called happy. That's what I want the child to call me, happy.
But one mother was not too happy, and that would be my mom. As it is now, she's not. I don't think she's happy with our relationship, and she definitely is not happy that we're pregnant.
Initially, it was just supposed to be a friendship, but I don't know why they wanted it just to be a friendship. I think because Sakira just came to Canada and she was young, they wanted her to explore her options. But at the same time, they wanted it to be in a controlled environment.
I don't know why my mom's whole attitude switched towards him. Because I remember in the middle of 2002, we broke up because it was such a problem. And I don't know what the exact thing is. She's not been there for me at all during the pregnancy, not even to ask me, did you have morning sickness, or how is the baby going, or when are you due? She doesn't even know my due date.
Despite the family problems, Sakira and Heos are doing well.
We had sex, went to sleep. At about 20 minutes to 5, Sakira jumped out of bed saying that her water broke.
So he jumped out of the bed and he's panicking, and I had to stand in the bathtub because everywhere would be wet.
and I was running from the door to the room, to the door, to the room, trying to figure out what to do first and what to get first.
We got here at about 5:45 or so.
Now we're just waiting for everything to come out.
Never known where she lived.
Coming up, some big drama in the delivery room. Despite being on the pill, Sakira got pregnant, and now she and Heos have moved in with his mother. But Sakira's own mother is not thrilled at all about her daughter's pregnancy, and the two haven't spoken in 7 months.
I have just examined Sakira, and clinically, she's in early part of her labor. Cervix is now dilated about 4 centimeters.
After 4 hours of painful labor, Sakira does something she thought she would never do. She calls her mother.
Just the thought of someone going through all of this for me, it just makes me want to at least reach out to her halfway. And if she wants to reach back, then it's up to her. So I called, but she wasn't up, so I left her a message. So she knows where I am.
As the pain increases, Sakira does something else she thought she would never do. She asks for an epidural.
We discussed before that with Sakira that she didn't want to go on the epidural, and now she's asking for the epidural. I really don't want her to go on it because it'd be a lot faster for her if she just lets everything take its natural course.
And there's a major reason why I didn't want it. My sister took it and she died. So that's why.
Epidurals are not without risk, but they are used in 60% of all births, and usually there's not a problem.
We like to give an epidural or offer an epidural when the patient's in active labor. Because if the patient's not in active labor, the labor may peter out and then they're stuck here with an epidural, and then they're more likely to have medical intervention, right? So we'd rather them be in active labor. With regards to when you can't offer someone, if the baby's crowning, then there's no point trying to put in an epidural because the baby will be delivering while the doctor is trying to put this long needle into their back. So at that point, I would say to a person, the benefits don't outweigh the risks because you're going to have your baby momentarily.
I want you to do.
Don't take it, baby.
You can rest right on.
Relax your shoulders.
Don't take it.
I'm glad I got the epidural. I can't believe I said that.
A few hours later, something else Sakira can't believe. After 7 months of silence, her mother, Jackie, turns up. There's a lot of mixed emotion in that room. Could this mean the family feud is finally over? Well, sort of.
I had a detachment, and I think it was for the best. I needed you at that time.
Yeah, because you're spoiled.
It's not because I'm spoiled, it's because you're my mother. She's spoiled. Don't you think she's spoiled? No. So you had doubts about my love then? I did, yeah. But how could you doubt my love? The things you did. So I'm like, there has to be one answer. Either she doesn't love me as much as she used to, or something is wrong. You don't understand how hard it is to let go.
Where you say that you love that person and you're not there for that person when that person needs you most.
Listen to this. My daughter left my house, moved out, and I have never known where she lived. Mommy. Have you? Mommy, I invited you twice. No. You said, oh, you guys have to come over one Sunday. You guys have to come over sometime. More than once. And you said, don't ask me again because I'm not coming. I can't know. And I said, you know what, she's upset that I moved out and she just doesn't want to come there. It's like, condoning me. So why would I have my grandmother and my brothers over and not you? I could never have told you that I'm not coming. That's what I could never make up that.
But the family feud has to wait. There's a baby on its way.
Must be in the big wheel.
That's it. Push.
Good security.
Push. Once more. Come on, push. It's almost there. I can see the head. And push again. Come on, push.
That's it. Keep it going.
13 hours after labor started, Sakira gives birth to an 8-pound, 12-ounce boy they call Cadence.
What's wrong with you? We're sorry. What took you so long?
Just like your father. Always early.
Minutes early. Am I here? You're so tired?
Dude, it's right behind you. It's a big boy, man. 8 pounds, 12 ounces. You toughed it out, man. She's all right, man. She's just resting up. Yeah. My life is just for him. My life is just for him.
He's more excited than me now because I'm thinking about breastfeeding. And I don't mind changing diapers because I'm used to it, but I've never breastfed anybody. Those things really scare me.
My knowledge on newborns, babies is zero. I know when it comes to changing, I am gonna get splashed in the face a couple of times. And I do know I am going to ask some questions because reading and doing are two totally different things.
Coming up, we knew it would happen. Trouble with the in-laws.
Okay. I got the message.
Sakira and Heos hadn't planned on being parents right now, so they're living with his mother until they can afford their own home. And despite a 7-month rift, Sakira's own mother turns up at the hospital just before the baby is born.
Tonight is Caden's first night home. I'm scared because I'm afraid that I'm gonna fall into a deep sleep and not hear him cry, or I'm really quite nervous and I don't see myself sleeping. Even if Caden's sleeping, I still don't see myself sleeping. I think I'd be a really light sleeper now.
I tried pumping milk last night so we could give him food, fill him up, and take him to bed. No, he really, really, really thinks that nighttime is daytime. He was smiling, and his eyes were wide open. And then at 5 a.m. he started to yawn.
Last night I was in the room and Caden started waking up, and then I'd hear him and then he'd stop. Caden would be like, so sometimes I'll be like, he's not, okay, he's breathing, okay. And then I can go back to sleep.
The breastfeeding is not going well. There's some good parts. When I was in the hospital, I had lots of help to put him on, but he's just clamping on really strong and quickly. But I know he's getting fed because he has lots of dirty diapers, more than average.
You'll get used to it.
I keep hearing that.
Yes, you'll get used to it and you'll enjoy it. It will be so soothing.
Your grandchild is very greedy. He won't let me put it in before.
Like his mother, not the father?
I'm not greedy.
Let me see my boy. Look at my little pumpkin here.
I think in the first week, I felt my style was cramped as a parent, not as her daughter-in-law, but as a new mother. I was just like, will you just let me do it? Could you just not say that? I think it's probably hormonal that I felt that way.
My mom reminds me of one of those little kids that comes to your door and they want to play with your child. And it's like, hi, is it okay if Caden comes out to play now? And that's what my mom will do. She'll knock at the door and be like, is he awake? Can I come in now? Can I see Caden?
All day in this.
But is it getting to be too much?
Every time I come home, she's here. Right? Every time I come home, she's holding Caden. So I get worried that Caden would not recognize. He'd only look at me as the stranger that always comes by. That's what I was really afraid of. I wanted to make sure that he knew mommy, daddy, grandma in that order. I know that may sound childish, but I want him to know his family first and then his extended family.
That's why he threw me out yesterday.
I didn't throw you out yesterday.
When did he throw you out? Knock at the door. We were busy.
We were busy. Oh. Really?
Knock at the door. We're busy.
Okay, tell me what happened before then. How long were you in the room before then? And the night before? And the day before? Okay, thank you. So she's spending plenty of time with Kaden. I'd like to spend some time with Kaden alone.
Okay. Okay. I got the message.
Lord have mercy. Oh my God. You didn't say that the other day.
Mm-hmm. Only when it works in your favor, eh, Mom?
A week after the birth, Sakira's mother visits her daughter. She brings along her sons and their older cousin. For Sakira, the visit is pleasant enough, but the hurt remains.
We were close, not the closest, because we always had our differences, but we had a connection, definitely. When she was saying some of the stuff in the delivery room, I'm like, oh, she needed her time to deal with stuff when I was pregnant, and I'm like, no, get upset, get over it, move on, and be there for your child.
Because I wasn't there for the pregnancy, I know my daughter is going to punish me for the rest of my life. I'll spend the rest of my life paying for it.
I love my child and want him, or if we have more, want them around so much that no matter what they did, I would like to be there for them. They will get punished, but they will not be ostracized.
I would consider myself to be Caden's second mom, and Sakira would not mind it because she knows how I am.
I still don't understand her completely. She's like one of those poets or artists that die and you don't know them, but she's still alive. You still don't know her. You think you do, but... And I did tell you, when you see her, she's beautiful, and you're like, oh no, she wouldn't do that. She's something else.
I'm so sorry I acted like such a jerk.
Coming up, Heos opens up on being a dad.
I didn't know I could be this stressed.
Okay.
New parents Sakira and Heos are living with his mother until they can afford a place of their own. They're also realizing just how tough it is to raise a child. Today is baby Caden's first outing, and his parents take him to the place where they first went as a couple 4 years ago. A lot has changed since then.
Well, I still can't believe I'm a mother. Every day I ask Heos if he's sure that we can still get to keep him. If there was another word for joy, like a word higher than that, then that would be the word.
That joy has made them see a lot of things differently.
An immediate hope for the future that I can get my family into our own place as soon as possible.
I would love to go back to work now just so I could start to build financially so we can buy a house, but I want to spend time with him.
I look at my parents differently now. Before I came, I looked at my parents and I was like, they're my parents. They're just here to cut down on any fun that I have or to make sure that I look dorky or whatever the case may be. But now I look at them and be like, wow, it shocks me. Like I say to my mom nowadays, I go, I understand now. I understand. I'm so sorry. I apologize for a lot of the stuff that I did. I was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. I acted like such a jerk. And I questioned myself a lot about that. I went to my mom and I said, you know what, Mom? Thank you. I know it's really hurtful, the part where the parents gotta say, I gotta let them go and let them grow up for themselves. That's the hardest part. Sakira's hard with it now, just giving Caden to my mom. I understand now. I understand.
I was sort of worried about Heos when we came.
For Sakira, living with Heos' mom has provided more than just a roof over her head.
She could be one of those mother-in-laws that you don't want to be near, but she's not. And she could be this cold person who is not affectionate, but she's the complete opposite. She's very affectionate. She kisses us all goodnight. You know, she treats us all like her children, not my son's wife. You know, she understands.
I think that young parents really benefit from having some kind of support, whether it's from the community, like their community, their neighborhood, their friends, or from family members, but not family members who are going to be judgmental or bossy or who are going to assume that they have no wisdom just because they're young, because often they do have a lot of wisdom. So people who are going to support them to realize that they are the parents and that the grandparents or the aunts and the uncles don't get to come in and say, you don't know anything, you're so young, but they get to support the parents in being the parents.
Both of us are seeing our parents in a different light altogether.
Yeah, our mother's dead. did more than I thought they did. You know what they did, but
you don't really know.
You don't really know until you have your child, and then you think back and you're like,
you really understand.
That's a lot of stuff.
Before having a child, you may think, yeah, I'm gonna be tired. Mm-hmm. After the child, you'd be like, I never knew I could be this tired. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit more stressed. I didn't know I could be this stressed.
Birth control is an issue because our last birth control method failed. So now we're, worried. Will it work? That 99% isn't 100, so there's a 1% chance that you could have another one. I thought that after I had Caden that I would be distant from Heos and just paid attention to Caden only. But it's been different. We're more affectionate and we talk more. Just checking in with each other. How are you feeling now? How did your day go at work? We did before, but now it's like you're taking care of each other so that you can both be there for your child. That's just how we are now.